In this tutorial, I'm going to give you quick tips so you can find the best fonts for your designs in Canva, and I'm also going to show you how to best work with them. Let's start learning how to add a text box to your design. There are two different ways to add a text box. The first one is by opening the text section on the sidebar and then clicking on this purple button that says add a text box. And the second way, which is actually a shortcut, is by pressing the key T on your keyboard. Now let's discover how you can further customize your text boxes in Canva. The first thing is learning how to change the text in any kind of design or any template in Canva. You will do it by selecting any text box and then clicking one more time. From here, you can delete the text and then add your own. Now pay attention, because every time that you select a text box, you will see a toolbar appearing on top of your design. From here, you'll be able to change the font, size, and then customize even further. Let's start by changing the font. When you click here, you will have access to different fonts, and there are different categories on this window. You will see the document fonts. In this case, we are using exactly the same font on these two text boxes. So we have the font Dreaming Out Loud, and then if I select this one, you will see that is the same font. Now let's say that I'm gonna change this font. I just simply need to select any font in this list. Now let me close this window and pay attention to this section, document fonts. I'm closing. Now let's go back to font, and you can see the two different fonts that we have on the design. Now let me go back, because I actually like this design using exactly the same font, but let's continue discovering this font window. Under document fonts, you will see recommended fonts. This section is actually pretty interesting if you are a beginner at designing. In here, Canva is going to recommend fonts that will make a good pair to the font that you have selected. So in this case, we have Dreaming Out Loud, and then Canva is recommending these fonts. If I were to select this one, I believe it matches well. Maybe I will need to change a couple of settings in here, but I believe this font pairing, it's fine. Below recommended fonts, we have recently used. This is useful if you don't remember the name of a font that you used recently. You will see them listed here. And then if you have a Canva Pro account, you can see here that we have a little crown. If you have a Canva Pro account and you have brand kits set, you will have access to those branded fonts from here. And you can select the brand kit that you want to use on this design. So if I click on this little arrow, I'll be able to select the brand kit that I want to use. And below this section, and also if you have a Canva Pro account, you'll be able to see the uploaded fonts. If you have uploaded fonts to Canva, they will be available from here. If you are using a Canva free account, this menu or this window will be a little bit more simple. You will see document fonts, recommended fonts, recently used, and I believe you won't be seeing these two sections in here. After recently used, you probably will be seeing this section called popular fonts. From here, you can simply scroll down and discover the popular fonts. As you can see, all of these are free because they don't have any crown next to it. But then if you see a font with a crown like this means that this font is premium, and it will be available only to Canva paid accounts. Now, what about if you know the name of a font and you want to use it? You're gonna use this search bar, gonna type the name of that font in here, and if it is available in the Canva library, it will appear in here. And to apply that font to a text box, simply select the font in this window. You can also search for other kind of keywords instead of the name of a font. So let's say that you want to find a font that is bold, but you don't necessarily know the name of a particular font. So I'm gonna type bold. By typing bold on this search bar, I have already here a list of bold fonts that I can use on my design. Now let me try another keyword. Let's try cute. Yes, I do believe these kind of fonts look cute. And now let's try elegant. Yeah, what do you think about this search result? I think it is working. I do suggest that you try a couple of keywords more and see the results that Canva is going to provide you in here. And now that we're talking about this search bar, I want to show you this button right here. This is actually a filter. And when you click here, you will have access to this this window. From here, you can select a language. This will be useful if your language has different characters than the one that we use in English. So, for example, you want to find fonts that work with the Thai language. You can type Thai, apply, and then you will find the font that has Thai characters and they are still elegant. What about if we change the keyword for cute? You see here that we now have only 2 fonts, and here you go. We have 2 different fonts that have this cute aesthetic and that they also have Thai characters in them. Now let me come back to the main menu to show you one more thing about this filter. Let's say that you are creating a template and you want to use only free fonts so anybody can use your template. You're gonna type here any keyword that you want, or you can use these buttons with keywords to filter your search result. But before, you're going to click on show filters, and in price you are going to select free. Click apply and then select the keyword that you want to use. So I'm going for serif, and as you can see, all of the results are now only free fonts. Now let me clear this filter and come back to the beginning. I just mentioned these keywords, but I do recommend you go and check them out because these are going to help you refine your search result. And also what I like about these keywords is that even though you don't know what these words or these keywords mean, you will see an example of how they may look. So let's go to handwriting and let's see what do we find in here. These are the results. All of these fonts that we have in here have the handwriting style and they have different aesthetics even though all of them are in the same category of handwriting. Now let's go back. Let's go now to corporate. This is what we have in here. And now let's try something completely different. Let's go and use this time retro. And here we have some pretty interesting results. These are indeed retro fonts that are going to add something fun to your design. We have learned a lot about fonts and now it is time to continue customizing our text boxes. We are going to learn how to change the size of our text. Select any of the text boxes and on the toolbar that you see on top, and from here you'll be able to change the font size by using this minus or this plus icon. Another way is by double-clicking on this number and adding the size that you want to use. And another option to change the size of your text is by selecting one of these corners, any of them, and then simply dragging your text box to make it smaller or to make it bigger. And what about if you want to change the color of your text? Select your text box and then select text color. It is this button here, which is going to open the text color menu. From here you have your document colors. If you have a bracket, you will have your branded colors in here, or you also have access to the default colors. From here, select the color that you want to use on your design, or if you want to use a particular color, you can use this plus icon. Play around with the color wheel if you want. You can also enter a hex code or you can use the color picker. You will see that on this toolbar you have more options to continue customizing your text. I think these are self-explanatory. You see that if you want to apply any of these attributes, simply select any of these options, and if you want to remove them, you will have to select them one more time. I want to stop here because I want to show you the uppercase feature. This one is quite useful if you want to see how your font looks in uppercase and in small case. So at the moment, this text box has uppercase activated. What about if I click here and remove the uppercase? I believe this changes a lot in how a design looks. So this is the before and this is the after. And I'm going to leave it with uppercase because I think this makes the message a little bit stronger. Then we have the alignment. If you want to change your text alignment, simply click on this button and continue clicking until you find the alignment that you prefer on your design. We also have the option to create lists. So you have bullet points and you also have numbers. And to be able to access them, you simply need to click and click one more time if you prefer the numbers, or if you want to remove them, click one more time. We then have spacing. From here, you can increase or decrease the space space in between each letter, and you can also adjust the line spacing, so the space in between each line of text. You can see you can make it bigger or smaller. This is also going to change a lot how your design looks. And then we have anchor text. This is going to be super useful if you are going to be designing templates, or maybe if you are going to use a design and then use it to bulk create. So here, let me show you an example. I'm going to copy this text and paste it in here. So I'm going to paste exactly the same text after this. So Control V. As you can see, the text is growing downwards, and that's because we have the anchor set to go downwards. If I change it to anchor middle, let me go back to remove this text, and now go and select anchor middle. If I add more text box, you will see that the text is growing upwards and also downwards. Now let me go back and select the last one. I'm going to select the anchor growing upwards. And now let's add more text. You see that now the text box is going upwards. This might not be very useful if you are just starting to design, but I believe it's good to know that this option is available in here. Now let me talk about a new and one of the most requested features in Canva that is finally here. For this, I have a couple of examples here prepared. This new feature will allow you to create superscripts and subscripts. To create something like this, you are going to select the text box where you want to create your superscript or subscript. Then you're going to select the text that you want to convert into a superscript or subscript. Go to Advanced Formatting, and in here, make sure that you are under General. At the moment, the text position is set to none, but in here, I want to create a subscript. So I'm gonna click here. Now, if you want to create a subscript, follow the same steps, but this time you are going to select this option. Under Advanced Formatting, we have some other options that also were quite requested by Canva users, and it is under typography. These two features are kerning and ligatures. So let me show you here another example that I have prepared for you. But before, and for those of you who don't know what a kerning is, kerning adjusts the spacing between specific pair of letters to improve readability and visual balance. And this is different from letter spacing, which changes the overall spacing between all letters. So we're gonna take a look at the space in between the W and the A. This space is a little bit bigger than the space that we have in between the other letters. So I'm gonna go to Advanced Formatting, Typography, and in here I'm going to activate kerning. It says refine letter spacing for visual balance. So pay attention to this space, and I'm going to activate kerning. I believe the change in the spacing in between these letters is quite visible in this case. You can see the before and the after, but if you don't notice any change when activating kerning, it might be because the font you are using doesn't support predefined kerning pairs. This feature only works with fonts that have built-in kerning data. You'll usually see the difference more clearly at larger font sizes and in letter pairs like TO or WA. And now let's talk about ligatures. For this, I have prepared another example in here. But what are ligatures? Ligatures are special character combinations where two or more letters are joined into a single glyph. They help enhance both aesthetics and readability of text, and are commonly used to prevent awkward spacing or letter collisions. And to apply ligatures, you're gonna do the same steps. Select the text box, go to Advanced Formatting, make sure that you go to Typography, and then from here, apply ligatures. And here, keep an eye to the F and the I because they are going to join into a single glyph. So I'm clicking on ligatures, and this is the difference. So you can see before and after. And now let me show you another example of ligature. Here I have another word. Keep an eye to the double F and the I. Going to Advanced Formatting, Typography, and ligatures. Before and after. And I want to add something here. Like kerning, ligatures will only work with fonts that include this feature. Not all fonts in Canva support ligatures, but many of them do. Now, let me show you some other ways you can style your text. Next to advanced formatting, we have transparency. This feature is pretty fun and will allow you to be more creative with your designs because you can add transparency to your text. Next to transparency, we have effects. When you click here, it will open a window. And from here, you can preview all of the effects that you can apply to your text boxes. You can also preview them on your text box by clicking on them. And every time that you click on any of these effects, you will see some settings that will allow you to further customize this effect. So let me show you here. If you want, you can adjust the roundness or the spread, transparency of the background, and even the color. Now let me change this effect for this one. I'm gonna change a little bit the offset, the blur, and another effect that you can add to your text boxes is curve. So you can still keep any of these styles and add a curve shape to your text. So you're gonna click here if you want to add this effect, and then you can adjust the curve by using this slider. I really like this feature because you can play with the shape of your text. You can keep it curved and also keep one of the effects that we see above if we want. If we want to remove the style, we can click none and keep the curve if we want, or we can also remove the curve by clicking on none. The most important thing, in my opinion, is to find contrast when combining fonts. Contrast is key. I have here a couple of examples on how to pair fonts. In this case, we are creating contrast by having two styles of fonts. We are combining a serif font, the one that is on top, with a sans serif. And if you don't know what a serif font is this kind of font that you see on the screen that features small lines or extensions. These are called serifs. Here's another example. I'm mixing a script font, the one that you see on top, with a sans serif. This combo is giving more casual vibes, but it doesn't mean that if you mix a script font with a sans serif, you will automatically get this casual vibe. Here's another example. We have exactly the same combo. We have a script font with a sans serif. The script font, as you can see, is the one above and the sans serif is below. But this combo is giving a more elegant and sophisticated vibe. And what I want you to take from this lesson is that in all of these examples, we are creating contrast. This font, if you look at it by itself, you may not think that it looks elegant or sophisticated, but once you mix it with this kind of font, then the magic happens. And here's another example on how to find contrast with fonts. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just a couple of examples that you can apply on your designs. Is to combine a display or a fun kind of font with a more neutral one. So here we have nude. I believe this font has this fun aspect to it. And then we have a neutral or a serif font below. Another example that gives a fun or playful touch to it, but that still looks serious, is to combine a bold font and a light font like the ones that we see on the screen. And there is something else I want to show you about creating these font combinations. Canva actually gives us some resources that we can leverage to create cool font combinations. And it is that Canva has already created some fun combinations for us. So to find them or to use them, you're gonna go to text and then simply scroll down. From here, you will see a lot of different font combinations, and some of them, they have already some effects applied to them. So let me show you, for example, here. This is actually one of the examples that I gave you previously. There is a sans serif font with a script font. Here, if you want to know the name of each of the fonts, you're going to click on the text boxes. You will see the font naming here, and you can take note of them. If you want to use the same template that Canva has provided for us, you simply double click on the text boxes and you're going to add your text in here. Now, if you want to continue playing around with these text boxes, you may want to ungroup these text boxes, because if you want to move the position of one of these text boxes, they will both move at the same time, and that's because they are grouped. So if you click here, ungroup, you can then play around with them. You can make them bigger, smaller, change the colors, or even the font if you prefer. Now, let me show you here another example of font combination that we see in here. And it is that these font combinations, or these font templates, as I like to call them, they have effects applied to them. So let's take this one as an example. I'm gonna bring it to my design. And then from here, as this button is purple, we can tell that it has an effect. This one is only one text box, you can see here. And then when I go to effects, I can see that it has a shadow with this green color. The font color is blue, so if you want to change any of these colors, you will know where to change them. If you want to change the blue, go here to text color. If you want to change the color behind, go here to effects. What I really like about these font combinations is that if I change the text on this text box, the effect will still apply to my new text. And something else that I would like to add in here is that a lot of these font combinations are free to use. Some of them have the Pro label, but as you can see in here, many of them are completely free to use. And there is one more thing, another asset Canva provides us in order to combine fonts. Here's a template that I just imported from the template library. This one right here, it's a free template. And I also want to mention that I just switched to a free Canva account. So you can see that what I'm going to show you, you can do it even with a Canva free account. Now, the feature that I want you to discover here is under styles. When you go to this tab under design, so you see here design, we are seeing right now the templates, but when we go to styles, from here you can quickly, with just one click, change the color palette and the font combination on your design. You can also change just the color palette, or you can also change just the fonts. So let's go to fonts. I'm gonna click see all, and from here you can see plenty of font combos that you can use on your design. So let's say that I want to try something different on this design just to make it a little bit more unique. I'm gonna select this combination. I think it's gonna work well, so I'm simply going to click, and you see that the text changes on the design. This text box looks a little bit bigger, but I can simply change the size and put it back to place. Now let me try something different. I'm gonna try this one, so I'm clicking once, and I have here again a completely different style on my design. And you can continue playing around with all of these fonts. As you can see, it's pretty simple, and what I like about these font sets is that you can discover different fonts, and you can also learn about font pairing because you will see a lot of examples and how they apply to real designs. Make sure to check out our Canva Master course if you want to learn everything about Canva. And I'm leaving on the screen another tutorial that I'm sure you are going to love. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more free tutorials, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!